He threatened my life, but that night with her I never felt more alive. The rain hammered against the grimy window of my tiny Brooklyn walk-up like it was trying to break in, each drop a sharp reminder that nowhere was safe anymore. I clutched the phone to my ear, heart slamming against my ribs, as his voice slithered through the line, low and venomous. "You think you can just walk away, Sarah? I'll find you. And when I do, I'll make sure you regret every breath you've taken since you left." Click. The line went dead, but the threat echoed, a cold knife twisting in my gut. I was 28, a freelance journalist scraping by on puff pieces about local artists and neighborhood haunts, but right now all that felt like dust. Mark, my ex, the charming architect who'd turned into a monster overnight, had crossed the line from angry text to something darker, something that made my skin crawl with the metallic tang of fear. I slid down the wall, knees to my chest, the worn hardwood floor cool against my bare feet, and let out a shaky breath that fogged the air. The apartment smelled of stale takeout and the faint lavender from the candle I'd lit last night to chase away the shadows. Outside, thunder rumbled like distant artillery, and I wondered if this was it, the moment my life unraveled for good. I didn't call the cops. Not yet. Mark had a way of spinning things, of making me sound like the hysterical one, and after 2 years of his grip tightening like a noose, I was tired of being dismissed. Instead, I grabbed my jacket, the leather one with the frayed cuffs that still held the ghost of better days, and bolted into the storm. The streets of Williamsburg were alive with the chaos of a Friday night bleed into Saturday morning. Neon signs flickering through the downpour, laughter spilling from dive bars, the sizzle of street vendors frying plantains despite the weather. Water pooled in the cracks of the sidewalk, splashing up my jeans as I hurried toward the beanery, the one place in this godforsaken city that still felt like a refuge. It was past midnight, but Lena would be there, wiping down the counter with that quiet efficiency that always steadied me. Lena. God, just thinking her name sent a flicker of warmth through the ice in my veins. We'd met 6 months ago when I was nursing a black coffee after a brutal deadline, her dark eyes catching mine over the steam as she slid the mug my way with a smile that cut through the fog. She was 29, a barista by day and a poet by stolen nights. Her words scribbled in a battered notebook that lived in her apron pocket. Italian-American roots showed in the curve of her full lips and the easy rhythm of her hands. But she was pure Brooklyn, sarcastic, resilient, with a laugh that bubbled up like soda fizz. We'd become friends fast, trading stories over closing shifts. My endless chase for the next byline. Her dreams of chapbooks and open mics. Lately, though, the air between us hummed with something electric. Unspoken glances that lingered too long, brushes of fingers that sparked like live wires. But tonight, with Mark's words clawing at my mind, I needed her more than ever. Not as a friend, but as an anchor. The bell above the door jingled as I pushed in, dripping and desperate. The cafe was empty save for the hum of the espresso machine winding down and the soft indie folk crooning from the speakers. Bon Iver, all haunting strings and whispers. Lena looked up from behind the counter, her short black hair tousled from the humidity, apron tied loose over a faded Ramones tee that hugged her frame just right. Her eyes widened, taking in my soaked state, the wild panic I couldn't hide. "Sarah? Jesus, what happened? You look like you wrestled a hurricane and lost." I forced a laugh, but it came out ragged like tearing fabric. Water dripped from my hair onto the checkered floor, pooling at my sneakers. "Close enough. Can I just sit? Please?" She nodded, flipping the closed sign without a word, and rounded the counter. Her hand on my arm was gentle, guiding me to the corner booth where the vinyl seats stuck to wet clothes. She vanished into the back, returning with a towel and a steaming mug of chamomile, her go-to for frayed nerves. The steam carried hints of honey and lemon, cutting through the damp chill clinging to my skin. As I buried my face in the towel, scrubbing away the rain and the tears I hadn't let fall yet, she slid in across from me, her knee brushing mine under the table. That simple touch grounded me, a tether in the storm. "Talk to me," she said softly, her voice like gravel wrapped in silk, the kind that invited confessions without demand. I hesitated, the words sticking like thorns, but her gaze, warm brown flecked with gold, pulled them free. Haltingly, I spilled it. The fight 3 weeks ago that ended with me packing a bag at dawn, the escalating calls, Tonight's threat that left me tasting bile. He said he'd find me, Lena. That he'd make me regret it. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm drowning. Her face hardened, jaw clenching in that fierce way she had. Like she was ready to throw punches for me. But then her hand crossed the table, covering mine, thumb tracing slow circles on my knuckles. The calluses from steaming milk and strumming guitar strings roughened her touch, real and alive against my trembling fingers. "Hey," she murmured, leaning closer, the scent of vanilla from her skin mingling with the tea. "You're not drowning. Not on my watch. That bastard doesn't get to scare you like this. We'll figure it out, cops, restraining order, whatever it takes. But right now, you're here. With me. Safe. Safe." The word hung between us, heavy with promise. I looked up, really looked at her. The faint scar above her eyebrow from a childhood skateboarding wipeout, the way her lips parted slightly as she breathed in sync with mine. Something shifted then, the air thickening, charged like the moment before lightning strikes. My pulse quickened, not from fear, but from the heat blooming in my chest, spreading like wildfire. I'd felt it building for weeks. The pull toward her, the way her laugh made my stomach flip, how I'd catch myself staring at the curve of her neck when she tied her hair back. But Mark's shadow had kept it buried, a luxury I couldn't afford. Now, with his threat echoing, it surged up, defiant. "Lena," I whispered, my voice cracking on her name. She didn't pull away. Instead, her fingers tightened, and she slid around the booth, closing the distance until her thigh pressed solid against mine. The world narrowed to the warmth of her body, the soft hitch in her breath as she searched my face. "Sarah, you don't have to go through this alone." Her words were a caress, low and intimate, vibrating through me. I leaned in, or maybe she did, doesn't matter. Our lips met in a rush of salt and sweetness, tentative at first, then hungry, like we'd both been starving. The kiss deepened, her hand sliding to the nape of my neck, fingers threading through my damp hair, tugging just enough to send sparks down my spine. I tasted the faint bitterness of coffee on her tongue, felt the rapid flutter of her pulse under my palm as it rested on her collarbone. A soft moan escaped her, muffled against my mouth, and it ignited something primal, a roar in my ears drowning out the rain's relentless patter. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, breaths mingling in hot bursts. "I've wanted this," she confessed, voice husky, eyes dark with the same fire mirroring mine. "For so long. But I didn't want to push. Not with everything you're carrying." I cupped her face, thumbs brushing her cheeks, feeling the faint stubble of unshaven shadow there, real, unpolished. Her. "Tonight I need to feel alive. Not scared. Not broken. With you." The words tumbled out raw, stripped bare. She nodded, a small smile curving her lips, and pulled me up, leading me through the dim cafe to the back room where the stock shelves loomed like silent witnesses. The door clicked shut behind us, sealing out the world. Dim light from a single bulb cast golden pools on the concrete floor, illuminating crates of coffee beans that released their rich, earthy aroma with every shift. Lena's hands were everywhere, unbuttoning my soaked blouse with steady fingers, peeling it away to reveal skin prickling in the cooler air. Goosebumps rose, but her touch smoothed them, palms gliding over my ribs, tracing the curve of my waist like she was memorizing a poem. I shivered, not from cold, but from the intensity of her gaze, the way she looked at me like I was the only story worth telling. "Sarah," she breathed, my name a prayer on her lips as she kissed the hollow of my throat, teeth grazing lightly, sending jolts straight to my core. I arched into her, fingers fumbling with the hem of her tee, yanking it up and over her head in one desperate motion. Her skin was warm, flushed, the tattoo of a wilting rose on her shoulder blade blooming under my fingertips, a remnant of a rebellious youth she'd once said. I traced it now, lips following, tasting the salt of her sweat mixed with the faint vanilla of her lotion. She gasped, a sound like wind through leaves, and backed me against the wall, the rough brick biting into my shoulders in the best way, grounding real. Our bodies pressed flush, hips grinding in slow, instinctive rhythm, the friction building heat that chased away the chill of fear. Her breath hitched against my ear, hot and ragged. "Tell me what you need." Everything I wanted to say, her strength, her fire, the way she made the world tilt toward hope. But words failed. Instead, I pulled her closer, legs parting to welcome her thigh between mine, the pressure exquisite, drawing a whimper from deep in my throat. She moved with me, unhurried yet urgent, hands exploring, cupping my breasts, thumbs circling peaks that hardened under her touch, eliciting moans that echoed softly off the walls. Time blurred, the storm outside a distant drumbeat to our symphony of sighs and whispers. She dropped to her knees then, eyes locked on mine, dark with reverence and desire. Her mouth found me warm and insistent, tongue tracing patterns that made stars burst behind my eyelids. I threaded fingers through her hair, gripping as waves built, cresting in a rush that left me trembling, crying out her name like a lifeline. She rose, kissing me deeply, letting me taste myself on her. Intimate, empowering. Then it was my turn, easing her onto a pile of clean aprons that smelled of fresh laundry and coffee grounds, worshipping every inch. The soft give of her belly, the strength in her thighs, the slick heat that welcomed my fingers, my mouth. Her back arched, a low groan tearing from her as she shattered, body clenching around me, pulling me under with her. We collapsed together, limbs tangled, hearts pounding in unison. The air hung heavy with our mingled scents, musk and vanilla, rain and desire. Lena's head on my chest, her fingers idly stroking my side, rising and falling with my breaths. That was incredible, she murmured, voice sleepy-sated, a smile in her tone. I pressed a kiss to her temple, the simple act flooding me with peace I hadn't known in months. Mark's threat lingered, a shadow at the edges, but here, in this stolen moment, it shrank. For the first time since the nightmare began, I felt truly alive, blood singing, skin humming, soul alight. As dawn crept in, gray light seeping under the door, we dressed in quiet companionship, stealing kisses between buttons and zippers. "Stay with me tonight," she said, not a question. I nodded, the decision easy. Outside, the rain had eased to a drizzle, streets glistening like they'd been reborn. Hand in hand, we stepped into the morning, her thumb hooked in my belt loop. A small anchor, but enough. The city awoke around us. Horns blaring faintly, pigeons cooing from fire escapes, the sizzle of breakfast carts firing up. I breathed it in, the crisp bite of autumn air laced with exhaust and pretzels, and realized this was the start. Not of an end, but of reclaiming what was mine. But safety was fragile. By noon my phone buzzed again. Unknown number, but I knew. A photo. Me leaving the beanery last night. Blurry but unmistakable, time-stamped. No message, just the implication. My stomach dropped, hands shaking as I showed Lena. Her face paled, but fury sparked in her eyes. "We're done hiding. Let's go to the precinct. Now." She grabbed her keys, that protective fire flaring, and I let her lead, our fingers interlaced tight. The cop station smelled of burnt coffee and desperation. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry wasps. Detective Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina in her 40s with a badge polished to a shine, listened without interruption, her pen scratching notes on a yellow pad. Mark's history unspooled under my halting words. The control, the isolation, the night he pinned me to the wall, breath hot with whiskey, promising pain if I ever left. Lena squeezed my hand under the table, her presence a steady hum against the chaos in my head. Ruiz nodded, face impassive but eyes sharp. "We've seen this pattern before. We'll pull his records, get that order filed today. In the meantime, change your number, stay with someone you trust." Her gaze flicked to Lena, a subtle approval. "And document everything. Texts, calls, that photo, it's evidence." We left with a stack of forms and a temporary order, the weight lifting just a fraction. Back at Lena's place. A cozy one-bedroom in Bushwick with exposed brick and shelves groaning under poetry collections. The adrenaline crashed. I curled on her couch, the worn chenille scratching my legs, while she brewed tea in the tiny kitchen. The space felt lived in. Jazz posters peeling at the edges, a half-finished crossword on the coffee table, the faint strum of a guitar leaning in the corner. She handed me a mug, settling beside me, our shoulders touching. "How you holding up?" Her voice was soft, probing without pressure. Like I dodged a bullet, but it's still whizzing past. I sipped, the ginger burning sweet on my tongue. Honesty spilled easier now. I keep replaying it, his voice, the way he looked at me like I was property. But then, last night, it was like flipping a switch. I felt seen, Lena. Not as the girl running scared, but as me. She turned, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear, her touch lingering. You are you. Brave, stubborn, with that fire in your words that hooks me every time you rant about some editor screwing you over. A grin tugged her lips, but her eyes were serious. And yeah, last night changed everything for me too. I've been falling for you since that first coffee, Sarah. Scared shitless because timing's a bitch, but here we are. The admission hung, vulnerable and electric. I set the mug down, leaning in to capture her mouth. Slower this time, savoring the way she melted into it, her hands framing my face like I was fragile art. We tumbled back onto the cushions, clothes shedding in lazy layers, bodies rediscovering each other in daylight's unforgiving glow. Her skin glowed warm under the slanted sunbeams, freckles dusting her collarbone like stars. I mapped them with lips and tongue, drawing breathy laughs from her that turned to gasps as my hand slipped lower, fingers curling inside her with deliberate strokes. She bucked, nails digging into my shoulders, a keening whine escaping as she came undone, pulling me over the edge with her whispered pleas. After, we lay tangled in the rumpled throw blanket, her head on my thigh, fingers tracing lazy patterns on my hip. The city noise filtered in, kids shouting in the alley, a distant siren wailing, but it felt far away, buffered by her steady breathing. What now? I asked, voice thick with afterglow and uncertainty. Now? We live. One breath at a time. She sat up, kissing my knee. I've got an open mic tonight at the Dive. Come with? Read something. Let the world hear your voice. I hesitated, the idea terrifying yet thrilling. My notebook lay forgotten in my bag, pages filled with fragments born of pain and fleeting joys. But with her, maybe I could shape them into something whole. The Dive was a hole in the wall on Bedford Avenue, walls plastered with faded flyers and the air thick with cigarette smoke and spilled beer. Even though smoking indoors had been banned for years, Brooklyn defiance at its finest. The crowd was eclectic. Tattooed punks nursing PBRs, gray-haired bohemians with berets askew, a cluster of college kids wide-eyed and whispering. Lena went up first, her voice steady as she read a piece about fractured skylines and hidden heartbeats, words weaving through the haze like smoke signals. Applause rippled, warm and genuine, and she caught my eye from the stage, a wink that said, "Your turn." My palms slicked with sweat as I climbed the steps, the mic stand cold under my grip. Heart thundering, I unfolded the page. Verses scribbled that afternoon, raw edges bleeding threat into triumph. In the shadow of his rage, I learned to run. But with her, I learned to fly. The words poured out, halting at first, then gaining force, the room leaning in. A gasp here, a nod there, and when I finished, the cheers crashed over me like waves lifting, cleansing. Lena rushed the stage, pulling me into a hug that tasted of salt and spotlight. Her "proud of you" murmured against my hair. But elation soured fast. As we spilled onto the street, buzzed on cheap wine and adrenaline, my phone lit up. Blocked number, a voicemail. I hit play, speaker low, but his voice sliced clear. Saw your little show. Cute. Enjoy it while it lasts. Attached. A grainy video, me on stage, timestamped minutes ago. Someone in the crowd? Panic clawed up my throat, hot and choking. Lena snatched the phone, face thunderous. Enough. We're calling Ruiz. Now. Her arm around my waist was iron, unyielding. Back at her place, the detective's voice crackled through the speaker, calm amid my babble. Send it over. We've got a team on his last known, Upper West Side. Sit tight. We're picking him up tonight. Hours stretched, me pacing the creaky floorboards, Lena brewing endless pots of coffee that went cold untouched. The scent turned bitter, mirroring the knot in my chest. Dusk fell, painting the walls bruised purple when Ruiz called back. In custody. Assault charges pending, turns out he's got priors we missed. Orders permanent. You're clear. Relief hit like a gut punch, tears streaming as I collapsed against Lena, her shirt dampening under my cheek. Sobs racked me, ugly and freeing, her arms the only thing holding the pieces together. It's over, she soothed, rocking us gently, the sway like a lullaby. You did it. We did. Over. The word echoed, hollow at first, then filling with possibility. In the quiet that followed, we made love again. Tender, exploratory, bodies speaking what words couldn't. Her fingers in my hair, lips on my scars, both seen and unseen. Dawn found us on the fire escape, wrapped in a quilt against the chill, watching the city stir. Steam rose from manhole covers, vendors hawking bagels with that yeasty warmth cutting the air. Lena's hand in mine, simple and sure. Weeks blurred into a new rhythm. My bylines sharpened, fueled by stories of survival I'd only begun to tell. Lena's chapbook sold out at a local reading, her words now including mine, intertwined verses of storm and sunrise. Mark's trial loomed, a shadow we'd faced together, her testimony beside mine a united front. But scars lingered, faint lines on skin and soul, reminders not of weakness, but strength forged in fire. One crisp October evening, as leaves skittered across Prospect Park like confetti, we sat on a bench, hot cider steaming between us. The air smelled of wood smoke and fallen apples crunching underfoot. I love you, I said, the words slipping free, unbidden but true. Her smile bloomed, slow and radiant, mirroring the sunset gilding the lake. I love you too, Sarah. More than words. She kissed me then, soft and endless, the world fading to just us. Two women, alive in each other's arms, threats turned to triumphs. In that moment, under the vast American sky, I knew we'd not just survived. We'd claimed our story, page by vivid page. The gavel's crack still echoed in my dreams, sharp as a gunshot, pulling me from sleep with a start. It had been 3 months since Mark's sentencing, 5 years with eligibility for parole and 2 if he played nice, but the finality of it all lingered like a bruise, tender when pressed. I woke in Lena's bed, sheets twisted around my legs, her side warm where she'd been moments before. The apartment smelled of brewing coffee and the faint citrus of her shampoo, sunlight slanting through the blinds in lazy stripes across the hardwood. Down the hall, the clatter of mugs and her humming. Some old Billie Holiday tune, off-key but endearing, drew me up. Padding barefoot into the kitchen, I leaned against the doorframe, watching her. Lena moved with that effortless grace, pouring grounds into the French press, her tank top riding up to reveal the dimples at the small of her back. 29 going on timeless, her body a map I'd charted 100 times. The freckle cluster on her left hip like Orion's belt, the way her abs flexed when she laughed too hard. She caught my stare, turning with a grin that crinkled her eyes. Morning, sleepyhead. You were mumbling in your sleep, something about gavels and gardens. I crossed to her, wrapping arms around her waist from behind, chin on her shoulder, inhaling the clean soap scent of her. Gardens? Probably dreaming of that rooftop plot we talked about. No more concrete jungle for us. My lips brushed her neck, eliciting a shiver that rippled through us both. She set the press down, twisting in my hold to face me, hands sliding up my arms to link at my nape. Sounds perfect. Tomatoes, basil, maybe a lemon tree if we're lucky. Her kiss was morning soft, tasting of mint toothpaste and promise, deepening just enough to stir heat low in my belly before she pulled back, smirking. But first, breakfast. Can't plot world domination on an empty stomach. We ate at the scarred oak table she'd salvaged from a stoop sale, scrambled eggs fluffy with chives from the corner market, toast slathered in butter that melted golden. The radio crackled NPR in the background, some segment on emerging poets, and Lena's foot hooked around my ankle under the table, a casual anchor. These moments, mundane yet profound, stitched the frayed edges of my life back together. Freelancing had picked up. My piece on domestic violence survivors had gone viral in indie circles, opening doors to a staff gig at the Village Voice. Lena's poetry readings packed houses now, her collection whispers in the grind, climbing local bestseller lists. But normalcy was a tightrope. Therapy sessions twice a week peeled back layers of Mark's damage, the gaslighting that made me question my own memories, the isolation that turned friends into ghosts. Dr. Ellis, with her silver-streaked bun and no bullshit vibe, pushed me to name the anger, the grief. You're not just a survivor, Sarah. You're a creator. Channel it. And I did, into words that bled onto pages, shared in support groups where women's voices overlapped like harmonies, strong and unyielding. That afternoon we wandered Greenpoint streets, arm in arm, the autumn air crisp with the tang of roasting chestnuts from a cart. Leaves swirled in eddies crunching under our boots, mine scuffed docks, hers sleek Chelseas that clicked like punctuation. We ducked into a vintage shop, rifling through racks of flannel shirts and denim jackets, laughing over absurd hats. Lena held up a fedora, plopping it on my head at a jaunty angle. Rider chic. Suits you. Only if you model this. I dangled a silk scarf, draping it around her neck, pulling her close under the pretense of tying a knot. Our kiss in the dim aisle was stolen, heated, her hands fisting the fabric at my hips. The shopkeeper cleared her throat good-naturedly, and we broke apart giggling, cheeks flushed. Bags in hand, scarf for her, a leather-bound journal for me. We emerged into the fading light, the city a symphony of honks and chatter. Dinner was takeout from that Thai spot on Manhattan Avenue. Pad CW steaming in wax containers, eaten cross-legged on the living room rug amid scattered pillows. The TV flickered a rom-com neither of us watched. Dialogue a low murmur under our conversation. Read me something new, I urged, head in her lap, her fingers combing through my hair in soothing strokes. She fetched her notebook, the pages dog-eared and ink-stained, settling back against the couch. Her voice wove the poem like thread. Verses of fractured light through cafe windows, lovers' hands bridging chasms, the ache of almost lost. In your eyes I find the map home, she finished, voice dropping to a hush. Emotion swelled, tears pricking my eyes, not sad but full, the kind that honors depth. You're magic, I whispered, sitting up to straddle her thighs, hands framing her face. Our kiss ignited slow, building like a crescendo, tongues tangling as hands roamed. Mine under her shirt, tracing the ladder of her ribs, hers unbuttoning my blouse, palms cupping my breasts with reverent weight. She nipped my lower lip, drawing a gasp, then soothed with her tongue, the dual sensation coiling tension tight. We shifted, clothes pooling on the floor, her guiding me down, bodies aligning in that perfect friction. Skin to skin we moved, lazy rolls of hips giving way to urgent thrusts, breath sinking in ragged harmony. Her fingers found my center, circling with expert pressure, thumb on that bundle of nerves while two dipped inside, curling to hit the spot that made me arch, a moan tearing free. Lena. Yes. The world narrowed to her. The flex of her forearm, the sweat beading on her temple, the way her eyes held mine, dark and devoted. Release crashed, white-hot, leaving me quaking in her arms. She followed, my hand between her legs, feeling her clench and pulse around me, her cry muffled against my shoulder. Sated we dozed, the room dimming to twilight hues, the scent of sex and sesame oil lingering. A buzz shattered the peace, my phone, Ruiz's name flashing. Heart stutter, I answered. Just a check-in. Mark's appealing, but it's routine. No contact. How's life? Real, I said, glancing at Lena, her smile sleepy and sure. Really good. Hanging up, I curled into her, the appeal a distant thunder, not the storm it once was. We'd built this, us, brick by resilient brick. Winter crept in on sleet-lashed winds, blanketing Brooklyn in gray slush that sucked at tires and tempers. My new office at The Voice was a bullpen of clacking keyboards and coffee-fueled banter, fluorescent hum a constant companion. Colleagues ribbed me gently about my muse, the barista who'd crashed a staff happy hour with poems that left jaws slack. Lena thrived too, her first workshop at a community center drawing crowds of wide-eyed queer kids, her words a beacon in their uncertainties. But holidays loomed, a minefield of family expectations. Mine, upstate wasps with polite smiles masking discomfort, had met Lena once over awkward Thanksgiving turkey. Dad, so you're close friends. Hanging like fog. Mom's hug lingered too long, apologetic. Lena's clan, boisterous Italians in Queens, enveloped us in red sauce and raucous toasts. Nana's bellissima, aimed at me with a wink that eased the knot in my chest. We navigated it, hands brushing under tables, stolen glances across crowded rooms. Christmas Eve we strung lights on her fire escape, the string twinkling against icicle-draped railings, the air biting with pine from the mini tree on her sill. Mulled wine warmed our palms, cinnamon spice curling in steam. "Remember our first holiday?" she asked, nestled in my coat on the metal steps, city lights sprawling below like a jeweled quilt. "How could I forget? You in that elf hat, force-feeding me panettone at 3 a.m. Laughter bubbled, shared memory a bomb. Her kiss tasted of cloves, deepening as snow flurried soft, melting on our lashes. Back inside we made a fire in the tiny hearth, gas flames dancing blue, and unwrapped gifts. For her a vintage typewriter I'd hunted on eBay. For me a leather bracelet etched with "Alive," her script steady. That night under the tree's glow we loved with holiday reverence. Slow undressing by firelight, her mouth mapping my collarbone, teeth grazing to mark without bruising. I knelt before her, hands on her thighs, tongue delving deep, savoring her essence like forbidden fruit. She trembled, fingers in my hair, release a quiet storm that left her boneless. Reciprocating, I lay back, her between my legs, fingers and mouth in tandem, building me to shattering heights, cries echoing soft. New Year's dawn crisp, resolutions whispered over mimosas. More travels, deeper words unyielding us. But early spring brought a curveball. A letter from Mark's lawyer, mediation offer laced with manipulation. "He wants closure," it read, but I saw the hook. Lena found me staring at it on the kitchen table, coffee going cold. "Burn it," she said, sliding beside me, arm across my shoulders. "Or frame it, as the last chain he gets to rattle." We chose fire, the paper curling black in the sink, ash swirling down the drain like exorcism. That act freed something, a wildness. We celebrated with a road trip upstate, her old Subaru rattling on winding roads, windows down to gulp Adirondack air thick with pine and thaw. The cabin we'd rented was rustic, log walls creaking, a wood stove crackling against lake chill. Evenings we hiked trails muddy with melt, hands clasped over roots and rocks, laughter echoing off birches. Nights tangled in flannel sheets, bodies heated the chill air, her straddling me, grinding slow, breast swaying as I gripped her hips, guiding the rhythm until we peaked together, gasps mingling with the hoot of owls outside. One dawn, fog-shrouded, we sat on the dock, feet dangling in icy water, her head on my shoulder. "This is forever, right?" she murmured, vulnerability cracking her voice. "Forever," I echoed, sealing it with a kiss, the lake lapping agreement. Back in the city, life accelerated. My book deal landed, a memoir weaving journalism with poetry, threads of threat and touch. Lena's reading tour kicked off, sold-out stops from Boston to Philly. We juggled with calls at odd hours, her voice tinny but teasing through static. "Miss your face." And other parts. A year post-threat we marked it quietly, a dinner at the Beanery, now co-owned with her old boss retired. The booth where it began held us, candlelight flickering on wine glasses. "To us," she toasted, eyes shimmering. "The night that saved you. And me." Our kiss sealed it, passion reignited amid familiar scents. Home we tumbled into bed, urgency born of gratitude. Clothes shed in a trail, her pinning me down, mouth hot on my neck, fingers plunging deep as I writhed, climax ripping through like thunder. She followed, my tongue coaxing her cries, body slick and sated. In quiet after tracing her tattoo, I knew the ending wasn't neat. Scars faded but stories endured. Ours a testament to love's fierce alchemy, turning terror to life unbound. Summer sweat glued the city to my skin, humidity a heavy blanket that turned subways into saunas and sidewalks into griddles. My book launch loomed 2 weeks out, a nerve-fraying cocktail of excitement and dread. Black tie affair at a Soho gallery, invites to agents and reviewers who'd shape my fate. Revisions had consumed nights, red ink bleeding pages until they screamed truth. Lena proofed the final draft over takeout falafel, her edits sharp but kind. "Here, tighten the gut punch. Make it bleed more." Her belief was my spine straight and unbowed. Mornings we'd run the promenade, Hudson breeze a mercy against the heat, her ponytail swinging like a metronome to our footfalls. Sweat beaded on her temple, trickling down to pool in the hollow of her throat. I'd steal sips from her water bottle, lips brushing hers in teasing nips. "Cheater," she'd gasp, tackling me to the grass in playful sprawls, bodies pinning amid giggles and grass stains. Those tussles often led home, showers turning steamy with soap-slick hands exploring, mine soaping her back, fingers dipping low to tease until she spun, pressing me against tile, mouth claiming mine as water cascaded. The launch day dawned brutal, sun glaring off glass towers like spotlights. Lena zipped my dress, a sleek black number hugging curves, slit high for movement, her fingers lingering on the zipper's path, tracing spine to dimples. "Stunning," she breathed, kissing the spot where fabric met skin. At the gallery, air-conditioned bliss hummed with chatter, champagne flutes clinking like chimes. Faces blurred, editors nodding approval, a reviewer from the Times cornering me for quotes. But Lena anchored, hand at my elbow, her simple shift dress green as envy, eyes proud beacons. I read from the stage, voice steady despite the quake in my knees, words painting that rain-lashed night. Threats venom, her kisses antidote. The room hushed, breaths held, then erupted in applause that washed over like rain, cleansing, renewing. Post-reading, a line formed for signings, stories shared in hushed tones. "Your words. They get it." One woman, mid-40s, tear-streaked, hugged me fierce. "Thank you for saying what I couldn't." Lena waited at the bar, nursing a gin fizz, her smile when I approached luminous. "Nailed it. Told you." We slipped away early, cab ride home a blur of tangled hands and heated whispers, her thigh under my palm, skirt riding up. Apartment door barely shut before she hiked my dress, fingers finding me bare, stroking through lace until I bucked, whimpering into her neck. Bed claimed us, her stripping me slow, mouth following fabric's trail. Breasts, belly, thighs, tongue delving to lap at core, drawing cries that echoed off walls. I returned, easing her onto silk sheets, fingers and lips worshipping until she arched, release a shuddering wave. Reviews poured in golden. Raw, riveting. A queer odyssey of survival. Book tours beckoned, but we carved space. Weekends at Coney Island, boardwalk salt on skin. Her cotton candy lips sticky sweet under Ferris wheel lights. One dusk, waves lapping foam at our toes, she dropped to knee, ring glinting. A simple band, silver twisted like vines. "Marry me, Sarah. Let's make forever official." Tears blurred the ocean. Yes, tumbling out in a kiss salty with joy. News spread wildfire. Family calls mixed joy and awkward queries, friends toasting over Zoom. Wedding planning woven to lives. Venue hunt in the Finger Lakes. A lakeside barn with wildflowers and willow trees. Dresses shopped in secret, mine ivory lace whispering against skin, hers emerald silk flowing like water. But joy's undercurrent stirred old ghosts. A tabloid snippet, Mark's prison interview. Regrets, but she pushed me. Twisted my gut. Therapy unearthed it. Forgiveness not for him but me, releasing chains. Lena held space, her "You're free" a mantra in candlelit sessions. Fall foliage tour. Upstate drives, leaves a riot of crimson and gold crunching under tires. We eloped early, just us and officiant by the lake. Vows exchanged with wind-whipped hair. Rings sliding cool on fingers. Vows raw. I choose you through storms and sun. Reception. Picnic under oaks, prosciutto and figs, her laughter bright as birdsong. Honeymoon in Provincetown, Cape Cod's queer haven. Cobblestone streets alive with rainbow flags, air brined with sea. B&B room overlooked dunes, gauzy curtains billowing. Days, bike rides to beaches, sand hot under towels, her sunscreen-slathered body gleaming as we swam, waves crashing cool. Nights, lovemaking by lantern light, bodies oiled and eager, her on top, hips circling hypnotic, my hands on her breasts, pinching to elicit moans. Switch, her face between thighs, tongue relentless until stars burst. Back home, married life settled like dust motes in sunbeams. Shared closet space, her razor beside my lipstick, mornings with coffee and crosswords, clues bantered like foreplay. My second book brewed, fiction this time, queer detectives unraveling hearts. Lena's MFA acceptance letter arrived. Celebration with rooftop wine, city sprawl below. Winter's grip tightened, snow muffling streets to hush. Holiday party at the Voice. Eggnog spiked, carols warped punk. Lena in velvet, me in sequins, dancing cheek to cheek amid tinsel. A colleague pulled me aside. "You glow. It's her, isn't it?" Nod throat tight. New Year, we volunteered at the shelter, serving stew to those fleeing violence, faces echoing my past. One girl, barely 20, clutched my hand. "How do you know it ends?" "It doesn't end," I said, Lena's arm around us. "It transforms." Spring bloom tentative, cherry blossoms fragile pink. Our first anniversary. Dinner at the beanery, booth sacred. She gifted a poem chapbook, bound leather, verses of our year. I read by candle, voice cracking on lines of enduring flame. Bed that night, anniversary heat. Slow striptease, her tying my wrists with silk scarf, teasing with feathers and fingers until begging. Unbound, I ravished her, mouth and hands mapping ecstasy. Climax shared, bodies quake-locked. Life layered. Promotions, readings, quiet nights with books and wine. Mark's parole hearing approached, but distance dulled dread. Letters to board detailing impact. Lena's hand in mine at mail drop. Summer again, book 2 launch, bigger, bolder, crowd roaring. Post-party, home haze, her undressing me amid confetti. Bodies celebrating in rhythmic frenzy, sighs symphony. Through it, love deepened, not fairy tale but forged resilient. In her arms, threats mere footnotes, life a vivid, pulsing narrative. The parole board's denial letter arrived on a Tuesday, crisp envelope slicing through junk mail like a verdict from fate. I stared at it on the kitchen counter. Coffee mug cooling untouched, the bold denied stamped in red like a stop sign at Hell's Gate. 2 more years minimum, time he couldn't touch, couldn't taint. Relief flooded slow, seeping into bones weary from bracing. Lena found me there, fresh from shower, towel turban, droplets tracing collarbone paths. She scanned the page, then crushed me in a hug, damp skin to cotton tee, her "it's done" vibrating through me like absolution. We marked it low-key walk in Fort Greene Park, dogwood shedding petals like confetti, air sweet with grass mowings. Her hand in mine, ring-catching sun, we picnicked on cheddar and crackers, wine from a thermos tart on tongues. Laughter flowed easy, stories of nothing, her MFA prof's bad beard, my editor's latest meltdown. As dusk bruised the sky purple, she pulled a small box from her bag. Earrings, silver hoops, dangling feathers. For the woman who flies free now. Emotion choked, I fastened them, her fingers brushing lobes, sparking familiar heat. Home, that spark flared. Kitchen counter perch, her between my legs, dress hiked, mouth hot on neck as fingers delved, stroking to rhythm of gasps. Counter cool against back, her heat contrasting, climax quicksilver, leaving knees weak. Life accelerated post-relief. My novel hit shelves, climbing charts with reviews hailing visceral queer noir. Tours whisked us cross-country. Palm-shaded readings. Chicago wind-whipped walks hand in hand. In San Francisco's Castro, rainbow crosswalks underfoot. We danced in clubs pulsing bass. Bodies grind clothes, sweat slick under strobes. Hotel after, mirrors reflecting our frenzy. Her pressing me to glass, hands pinning wrists, tongue tracing spine while fingers plunged. Turn me on knees, mouth worshipping her core until thighs quaked. Home base steadied. Brooklyn brownstone purchase. Joint names on deed a milestone. Moving day chaos. Boxes labeled books and poet junk. Laughter amid grunts heaving furniture. First night, sleeping bags on bare floors. Takeout pizza grease-fingered. Her head on my belly, breath sinking to crickets outside. Renovations followed. Weekends painting walls sage. Hammering shelves, sawdust scent sharp. One afternoon, paint splattered, she backed me against ladder. Overalls unzipped to waist, breasts bare and begging. I obliged, mouth latching, suckling as hands cupped, her moans echoing empty rooms. Floor claimed us, paint cans rattling, bodies rolling in ecstasy's tumble. Release gritty and glorious. Winter wonderland. Tree trimming with ornaments from travels, lights twinkling on boughs. Gifts exchanged by fire, hers custom typewriter keys spelling our names. Mine leather portfolio for her poems. Yule log crackled, shadows dancing as we made love on rugs slow and sacred, her atop rocking gentle, eyes locked in soul-bare gaze. My turn beneath, legs wrapped, her thrusts deep, climaxes whispered vows. Spring brought bloom. Garden plot on roof, seeds poked into soil, tomatoes, herbs, hope. We tended weekends, dirt under nails, sun on skin. One harvest eve, salad fresh picked, her feeding me cherry tomato juice bursting sweet, leading to table tryst, her seated, me straddling, grinding to mutual moan, forks clattering forgotten. Summer Tour Redux. Book 3 Brewing Co-written Whispers with Lena, queer romance lace thriller. Joint readings electric, audiences enwrapped, questions probing. How do you capture that spark? Anniversary 2. Getaway to Berkshire's cabin wood smoke scented, Lake Mirror calm. Hikes crested ridges, views endless. Dips naked, water shocking then caressing. Nights porch swing creak, her fingers strumming me like guitar. Building to crescendo under stars. Back life layered richer. Mentorships at shelters, my words guiding young survivors. Lena's tenure track offer. University halls echoing her voice. Friends' weddings dotted calendar. Toasts toasting our trailblaze. One crisp October leaf peeping drive. Radio crooning folk, her hand on thigh. Kids. Casual query, heart stutter. We danced it, fostering maybe queer family mosaic. Someday, I said, her squeeze affirming. Holiday host. Turkey brine, tables groaning kin. My parents thawing, hugs warmer. Hers enveloping in chaos love. Post-feast walks, bellies full, snow flurrying first. New Year resolution. Adventure, cross-country train, windows framing America's quilt. Compartments cozy, her curled in lap, books shared. Stops. New Orleans jazz haunts, hands swaying slow. Santa Fe adobe warmth, market-scented spice. Spring renewal. Roof garden bounty, pesto whirring blender. Dinner al fresco, candles guttering, her proposal redux. Vows renewed lakeside, friends witness. Summer solstice party. Roof bash, lanterns glowing, bodies dancing under moon. Her in sundress, me shorts and tee, slow grind to reggae, leading to guest room hideaway. Door locked, dresses hiked, fingers frantic, muffled cries in pillow. Through seasons love evolved, not static but river carving deeper channels. Threats? Footnote faded. Alive? Every beat in her embrace. Autumn's palette painted the city in fire. Ginkgo gold, maple blaze. Crunching under boots as we hustled to the fertility clinic. Hand in hand, pulses syncing with anticipation's thrum. After years of some days we'd leaped. IY cycle donor sperm chosen from profiles promising kindness and curiosity. Weight stretch taut, home pregnancy tests stared down like oracles, negative lines mocking. This round 2-week limbo clawed nerves raw. Lena buffered her MFA grad show opening night, a distraction, gold gallery walls hung with installations. Coffee-stained canvases inked poems, audio loops of our laughter woven. Opening buzzed, wine flowing, critics nodding. Amid schmooze, her hand found mine, thumb circling ring. Whatever comes, we're ready. Home champagne chilled regardless. Popped with hiss, fizz bubbling throats. Bed welcomed, tension uncoiling in touches tender turned fierce. Her lips on belly whispering to potential life. My hands in hair, guiding mouth lower, pleasure chasing worry. Climax soft, tears mingling sweat. Pink lines dawn next morn too bold. Breath caught, joy exploding confetti. Lena hooped, spinning me kitchen spin, kisses peppered face. Calls flew. Families teary, friends toasting. Ultrasounds confirmed. Bean-sized heartbeat flickering, miracle Morse. Pregnancy wove wonderwear. Mornings queasy, ginger tea, Lena's brew steadying. Afternoons nesting, crib assembly fumbles laughed off. Her classes wrapped, focus shifting. Poetry for tots, lullabies lyrical. My desk cleared for change table, words pause for kicks felt through skin. Winter swell. Belly rounding, snow blanketing stoops. Holiday scan showed tiny fists waving, gender surprise, girl. Names bantered. Aria for song, sage for wisdom. Family gathered, bellies full. Her hand protective on curve. Spring burgeon. Walks slowed, park benches claimed, her reading to bump. Tales of brave queens. Cravings hit, pickles and ice cream, midnight runs giggling. Showers turned sensual. Her soaping swell, hands gentle, dipping to core for relief, fingers circling slow, release rippling calm. Summer heat wave. AC whirring, fans oscillating. Birth class breathe through contractions, mock her grip anchor. Book 4 gestated parallel. Chapters birthed amid Braxton Hicks. Labor struck August lightning. Midnight gush, waters breaking sheets. Hospital dash, contractions gripping like vice. Lena coached, voice rock. Breathe with me, love. Hours blurred, sweat and screams, her forehead to mine, tears shared. Dawn cry pierced, daughter 7 pounds even, eyes stormy blue like mine, tuft black like Lena's. Skin to skin, tiny weight grounding, love instant title. Naming, Aloan, Cornish for elm tree rooted, reaching. Home haze. Nights fragmented, feeds and diapers, her rocking shifts tag team. Exhaustion etched but overrode, Aloan's coos, fists waving poems. First smile, gummy, heart melt. Fall foliage framed walks, stroller creak, her pushing me, snapping pics. Holidays tiny. Tree low for toddler reach, her reciting 'twas the night dramatic. Winter wonder. First snow bundled out, flakes on lashes. Aloan squeals pure, toddling steps wobbly. Spring sprout. Park playdates, swings push, her chasing giggles. Book launch postponed, words waiting wings. Summer splash. Kiddie pool paddles, sunscreen slick. Nights once babe slept reclaiming. Quiet now, her mouth tracing stretch marks silver. Fingers reverent, building slow to shared size. Year 1. Cake smash, messy frosting face. Partykin crowded, toasts to family forged. Aloan 2, words tumbling. Mama duel, us both seamless. Travels mini. Beach days, sandcastles, waves tickle. My return writing. Columns on queer parenting, raw real. Lena's book 2, Parenthood versus Visceral. 3, preschool drop, tears mine not hers. Afternoons craft chaos, glue hands. 4, questions bloom. Where's daddy? Gentle truths, books bridging. Therapy tandem. Navigating narratives. 5, school start, backpack big. Her teacher confab, pride beaming. Through years, love layered parental. Date nights stolen, sitters trusted. Her in dress rediscovered. Dinners candlelit. Home hurried. Kitchen quickies, counter perch, gasps hushed. Anniversaries marked. 5, vow renewal park. Aloan flower girl tumbling. 10, cruise escape, seas rocking bodies anew. Cabin passion, waves echo moans. Aloan 10, tween spark, debates dinner, her mediating wise. Sports tryouts, cheers sidelines. Challenges crested. Colic echoes and tantrums, schoolyard slights, queer kid targeted. United front, talks open, her poems armor. Joy crests. Graduations mini, arts fair ribbons, family trips tented. Stars overhead, stories spun. 20. College send-off, tears torrent. Empty nest loomed but us core. Adventures anew, hikes handhold, books co-authored. Through that night echoed. Alive in her now multiplied. Meaning, love's legacy, threats transmuted to triumphs generational. Aloan's absence carved quiet into the brownstone. Echoes of slammed doors and laughter blasts now ghosts. 21. Off to NYU film program. Dorm unpacked with posters, punk and Prince poetic. Last breakfast. Pancakes stacked, syrup sticky, her eyes mirrors of ours blended. Shimmering unsaid goodbyes. Call anytime, kiddo, Lena murmured, hug fierce. Door click final, silence settled heavy as fog. We wandered rooms, picking stray socks, framing photos fresh. Afternoon, her arms circled waist from behind, chin shoulder. Empty but us again. Kiss neck nuzzle, heat stirring dormant. Couch claim, slow rediscover. Her straddling dress hiked, grinding deliberate. My hands hips guiding, breaths mingle moan. Release tender, tears salt sweet. Life refocused. Travels dreamed. Italy roots for Lena. Upstate cabin weekends. First trip. Rome cobbles, gelato drip chins. Her nana's recipes hunted markets. Evenings piazza, wine red. Her hand thigh under table, hotel hurried. Balcony rail grip, her behind. Thrusts deep city serenade. Back projects reignited. My memoir sequel Survivor's Legacy. Her anthology Queer Voices Chorus. Readings joint stages shared applause thunder. Winter Idol Vermont Ski Lodges firelit. Slopes carve falls laughed. A pray hot toddy cabin steam. Sauna sweat bodies slick her mouth trail down knees buckle pleasure. Spring bloom. Garden revival hands soil stained planting dreams. Evenings porch swing books lap. Her fingers trace arm idle intimate. Summer sail. Cape charter waves rock sun skin kiss. Deck naps tangle below deck's passion. Hammock sway her atop rocking sea rhythm cries gull masked. Fall foliage. Drive Berkshires, leaves torch, B&B breakfast berry. Hikes crest views vast picnic blankets spread. Her feast fingers, building to outdoor ecstasy, earth cradle. Holidays hostless. Travel Hawaii sands white waters teal. Luau hula hips her sway mimic bungalow night lanai screen her tongue delve wave crash echo. New Year Bali. Rice terraces emerald monkeys mischief. Temple bells toll her prayer hands mine villa pool plunge, water weightless bodies buoyant love. Challenges crept. Health scare Lena's mammogram shadow biopsy weight agony. Clear relief flood. Her closer now vow deepened. My knee twinge PT grinds her massages ease, turning sensual oils warm strokes thigh-high release reward. Friends milestones. Weddings witness babies hold toasts times gift. Aloan visits. Holidays home boyfriends vetted gentle, films screened critique. Pride swells her path. Doka series queer icons are story thread. Grandkids glint horizon. Her engagement news ring sparkle FaceTime. Wedding plan assist dresses try tears joy. First grandbaby boy named Sage nod. Hospital hold tiny love recurse. Empty fuller. Visits frequent stories swap. Her baking cookies sent home. Travels grand. Europe rail Paris cafes kiss Vienna waltz whirl. Bookshelves sag. Our work spine to spine legacies leaf. Awards trickle. Her Pulitzer nod poetry my Edgar mystery. Gala's gown her arm escort after parties hotel heat. Mirrors multiply bodies echo. 60 beckon. Bodies softer lines laugh etched. Love liquid deeper. Morning slow coffee shared. Her foot calf hook habit. Anniversary 30. Vow Lake officiant old friend words weathered true. Dinner yacht stars canopy cabin berth rock gentle. Her touch timeless, climax quiet quake. Through decades that night anchor threat transfigured. Alive eternal her embrace. Meaning, love's weave, threats threat to tapestry enduring. Silver threads wove our hair mirrors reflecting faces map time. Crow's feet crinkles joy lips softer smiles. Brownstone creaked companion, walls whisper memories. Crayon marks faded book stacks towers. Morning's ritual. Her brewing dark roast sent curl wake. My toast butter jam tart. News skim puzzles joint clues banter foreplay. Garden thrived volunteer. Tomatoes twist, bees hum. Afternoons weed dirt nails her hat floppy shade kiss earth scent. Winter's mild. Florida escape sand shell strewn gulf gentle lap. Condo balcony sunset sip rose her hand gnarled mine weave. Spring's park stroll benches claim birdsong backdrop. Aloan's films Oscar buzz, screenings red carpet, her arm link proud. Summer's lake house, grandkids cannonball splash, her grill master smoke hickory. Evening's dock swing stories spin fireflies. Fall's harvest fair pies judge ribbons blue. Home bake flour dust her lick spoon teas kitchen counter perch echo youth. Fingers slow circle release ripple calm. Health tandem. Checkups duo her pacemaker tick steady my hips replace smooth stride. Walks measured her cane tap rhythm. Travels tempered. Cruises calm ports amble, her history geek gelato gel. Venice gondola glide, her serenade off-key laughter bubble. Books final. Hers collected works mine omnibus tales. Launching's quiet kin circle toasts tear. Grandkids grow. Sage teen tech whiz directs shorts. Next girl poet sprout versus mimic grandma. Great grand hint. Weddings bloom, rings exchange, nurseries paint. Challenges crest. Losses kin, funerals hold hand, grief share quiet. Her Parkinson's tremor, my dementia fog edge, notes remind her voice anchor. Adapt grace. Audiobooks echo her steady hand mind guide. Therapy talk, love language evolve. Anniversary 40. Island isle palms sway, vows sunset, words whisper wind. Dinner toes sand, her eyes hold galaxies. Night's Nestle body spoon, her breath neck warm. Touches tender. Fingers trace scars old. Lips peck shoulder, intimacy whisper. Aloan Doku airs. Our story screen tears theater, her grip tight premiere. Legacy leaf. Scholarships name centers queer youth fund. Visits mentor words wing. 70 dawn. Bodies betray but spirits soar. Morning's porch tea steam, her poem recite dawn chorus. Winter warm. Mexico cantina mariachi strum. Her dance sway hip shake. Spring bloom. Cherry watch petals drift confetti. Park bench her head shoulder rest. Summer solstice. Roof party kin lanterns glow toasts time's grace. Fall equinox. Harvest moon walk, leaves rustle her arm loop steady. Through season's silver that night north star threat shadow her light blaze. Alive? Every heartbeat in love's vast verdant weave. Twilight years gilded soft, days elastic, night's velvet deep. Brownstone sanctuary, ramps ease, chairs lift. Morning's sunroom birds feeder flock, her binoculars peer, names chirp. Breakfast tray oatmeal berry her spoon feed playful lips catch dribble kiss. Garden kin tend. Grandkids hoe laughter soil turn. Afternoon's nap tandem her snore soft, hand palm clasp dream. Winter's hearth. Fire crackle blankets lap. Stories oral Aloan tapes voices preserve. Holidays hearthside carols croak. Kin circle song. Spring's wheelchair path blooms sniff her nose wrinkle delight. Picnic's blanket. Sandwiches crustless. Her bite share bird peck. Summer's shade. Hammock sway. Books audio ear her commentary quip. Evening's fireflies jar grandkids chase glow. Fall's leaf rake piles jump her laugh wheeze joy. Bonfire's esmeralda stick her roast perfect char. Health hospice hint. Her decline gentle my vigil constant. Hospice home bedside hands link for drip. Story swap. That night rain her cafe haven kiss spark life. Best plot twist. She quips breath shallow. Kin gather. Aloan films loop, sage tech streams great coup bassinet. Her last dawn. Sun sliver her eyes meet mine hold. Alive. Always. Breath sigh feather hands slack. Grief ocean waves crash tides ebb. Empty her side pillow scent fade. Journal fill. Letters her words bridge. Morning mosaic. Kin comfort walks widow slow her poems read aloud wind. Legacy live. Foundation thrive awards annual her name echo halls. Years fold. My pages turn solo but her ink indelible. Replays mental. Cafe booth bodies backroom alive electric. Aloan sequel doc. Her echo. Screens festivals tears tribute. Grandkids stories mine. Grandma Lena's fire. Eyes wide wonder. Sunset's porch her urn garden bloom whispers wind her voice. Ending. No continuum. Love's loop eternal. Threat? Dust mote. That night. Eternal flame her arms forever home. Meaning profound. From peril's brink. Life's richest bloom. Love's defiant, deathless dance.